Well, welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. This will be a 78 Camaro video, I'm guessing. Sorry I haven't been posting. Keep your eyes out for some tribute videos for ShopDog coming. He had a little cancer, and it was his time. So he's waiting for Rainbow Bridge. Anyway, that's kind of, that's kind of reality. Anyway, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't remember where we left off. I think I gotta go look for stuff that's been painted. And as I suspected, there's some stuff here hanging on a paint rack. So if you recall, we made this shelf bracket and these two upper brackets for the radiator. I know it's been a few weeks, but yeah, that looks pretty nice actually. Considering what we started with, those sure look almost professional. Okay, so those look really nice. Sure looks like he's been busy sorting some stuff. I see a bunch of drawers, so one of the things I'd like to accomplish today is the rerouting of that hose. If you recall, with the fans we had to kind of change that. Shouldn't be that difficult though. Alright, I just looked at the video from a few weeks ago. Now remember, this was here like this. Well, it looks like with the way the fan shroud is, I was originally looking at cutting it under here, but I really don't like the pressure that creates. But it looks like I can actually just get away with doing that. And instead of having the hose go like this, like we had it before, where it gets into trouble right here, I can kind of bring it up like that, and then that's not a problem. So, I'm going to look into that. Okay, so I think I'm pretty happy with this routing. Out of the belt, it'll be out of the shroud now. So, yeah, that was one of those things we had to take care of. Alright, and we changed our spacers on the alternator, and now I'm a lot happier with that alignment. I know it doesn't show up well on the camera. Plus, any little bit we can buy down here helps. Always a problem on short water pump systems. Okay, so we just did the weather strip adhesive to that gasket material we had in here, and now the nice new button heads. And I'm going to cut the new one for this, and we'll get that glued on and let that start curing. Okay, so for now, we've just got this zipped out of our way and kind of taped on. Obviously, when it comes time to wire, we're going to have to put something over that to protect it from this edge. But I need to see where that falls relative to here. I'm pretty sure I got tons of room, so we should be able to just slide a nice piece of hosing over that. But we'll deal with that in a minute. So we've got the isolator cut and punched for that. And then all we were doing, because there's, I guess I should have shown you, but because we did those riv nuts, you don't want just a hole for the bolt. So we found that this old copper pipe was perfect. So we're heating this up with the blowtorch, and then you just pop that on there, and it cut little circles. Still cut little circles right out of it. That worked perfect. So we're now going to go ahead and put these two straps on and then try to get this mounted up. Okay, so I found a nice real stiff, I think it come off of a refrigerator truck to be fair, and I've got it clamped way back on inside there, so that'll be nice and safe, keep us off of that forever. You can see we're free here, but only barely. So I'm probably going to move that bracket to the other side of that, but I'll deal with that in a little bit. With the new rubbers in here, it doesn't sit down as nice as it did on the worn out ones. So we're done one of them worn out ones. See, these are what we were using, and they were obviously not as well profiled. So that actually kicks the radiator towards the engine a little bit. So we got to compensate for that as well. So just kind of because really we want it to be like that. That would be perfect. So just got to work on it. But one of the things we want to do, you guys remember that top plate. This top plate just isn't going to work. But we'll have a new one made of a similar style that will also cover all of this and do everything we want. But I don't want to ship the radiator loose, and I don't want that top plate to be the only thing holding it. We've got all kinds of holes in here that look like they might have been used for wiring. In fact, those are probably exactly what those were used for, looking at the way they're sitting. This hole and the hole down there, those are going to get riv nuts. But that does mean I still get this one and this one. No, this is the center bolt. That'll get used. So we gotta think about a few thoughts here. But yeah, so you thought we were done making brackets, but you're wrong. And I found a bracket I like. I want to cut this in half. I want to take, not these specific holes, but something like it, so that it can be bolted there. And obviously that'd be cut in half, and then we could have a hole in here and another nut cert here, and these would probably be 1024, and that would work slick, I think. Let's take a look. And remember, when you're drilling through something into a radiator, be safe. Always practice little safety techniques. So we've got a washer and a bushing, so I can never go deeper than that. So we just did that one. Well, the chips, just kind of let the chips go where they lay. Okay, so here are those little offset brackets. So this side got a riv nut, and this side gets a riv nut. So here is our through hole into a riv nut to a bracket into there. And that should positively locate this so that even without that top cover, the radiator doesn't want to go anywhere. Oh, he's sitting here goofing off, showing how bendy this is, but the fenders will kind of keep that from moving as much. But here's the big thing. Look at all this room. We just don't always have this kind of room. Oh, yeah. So, nice, square, solid mounted. We're happy. Like I said, they're going to make a new cover. That's out of our skill set. And this will probably get tied up here for now. But for right now, it's just going to sit right here. Because getting in here to do all that later would have just been terrible. But yeah, look at that. Pretty happy. And, you know, at some point we're going to have to put the column and the heater box in. That's coming pretty soon, I think. I think that's, especially since we've got the riv nut stuff here. Because remember, we were going to make a mount and riv nut that to the thing, so that'll work out pretty nice. You know, I know it looks closer than it actually is, but those aren't touching, so not much more I can do about that. And you know, hopefully the belt doesn't wear away the hose too fast.
Did you shim the shimmy?
Yeah, told him that we did shim that out just a little bit more. And like I said, we got these together, and you know, whatever this material, these brackets were made out of, that was a little hard on drill bits. It makes a weird chattery noise, and it unwinds drill bits. So, that was interesting. Yeah, pretty happy here. That's all going to clear, and I'm confident that that'll cool. So, well, you're not always confident in that. And with that, this trip back into car crafting is coming to a close for the night. It's it's not too bad. It's only 9:30, but you know, just getting back into things, you know, now that ShopDog's gone. So we don't have an inspector anymore, so we have no idea if we're doing a good job or not. So anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Always pay attention to what you're doing and where you can and can't fit. Sometimes you need a friend.